What's poppin', world? I hope all is well. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss none of this great content. If any moment during this video you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that thumbs up so we can get to the algorithm, more people can see this content. Let's get into this. Today, I want to talk about the art of compartmentalization, right? We need to learn the art of compartmentalization. What does that mean? That means having the ability to divide things, right, and not put things all in one. For an example, if I get fired from my job today, it would be foolish for me to say, you know what, I hate jobs. I'm not working anymore. I'm going to see if my wife can pay all the bills, right? So what I did was I took an issue that I had with one particular job and I put it on all other jobs, right? Now let's get into what I like to talk about. Let's talk about men and women, dating, relationships, and marriage. Let's talk about that. I see a lot of people out here saying, if marriage, if relationships, if dating, right? And here's my issue with that. These individuals will have a problem with one or two people, or maybe more, right? They'll have a bad relationship. They'll have a bad experience. They'll have a bad dating time. And they will say, if all of this, I'm done with it, right? And they'll, I guess, assume to wash their hands for it temporarily. When in reality, at some point, they are going to bond with someone and seal the deal, right? Or at least that's their goal. If you're going to do it eventually, there's no need in bashing it. I'm going to say it again. If you long to do it eventually, there's no need in bashing it. I see a lot of people doing this. Just because things didn't work out with you and somebody else doesn't mean you need to bash the whole thing. Some people can't help themselves. Some people get over emotional and they make these types of statements. Let me say this. There are millions and millions of people out here for you. Millions. Millions. If you have one bad situation or relationship or marriage, there's no need to throw them all away, right? I guess they call that throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? There's no need to do that. Maybe you need to work on yourself. Maybe you need coaching. Maybe you don't have the knowledge or the wisdom to properly know how to date or marry or get in a relationship or have a successful relationship. Maybe you don't have the know-how. But there's no need in us putting everything together, right? Letting everything touch like spaghetti in our brains, right? We have to have brains similar to a waffle, right? We got to be able to compartmentalize it. We got to be able to say, you know what, that person wasn't right for me, or that person wasn't right for me, or that situation wasn't right for me. We have to learn the art of compartmentalization. We have to do that. I would not be married today if I had the mindset or if I was quick to dismiss dating or relationships or marriage after all the women I've talked to throughout my life, right? If I would have had that mindset of if dating before I met my wife, I wouldn't be happily married today. I know I had talked to at least 100 women. And I'm not talking about throughout my lifetime. I'm talking about that year. That year, I had talked to at least 100 women. Now, this doesn't mean that I went out with all of them. I probably didn't meet half of them. But whether I met them online or in person or whatever the case may be, I talked to about 100 women the year I met my wife. But guess what? At no moment did I say, if dating. I kept going. I kept doing my thing. I said, oh, I know me. I'm doing my thing. I'm working out. I'm spiritually good. My mental is good. Financially, I'm good. I'm like, I'm good. I can do it. I got game, you know. Let me keep going, right? I said, let me keep going. You know, let me keep going. And boom, eventually we met. And we started talking. We started hanging out. Things clicked. And here we are today. But at no moment did I say, if relationships, if marriage, F dating. I never said that. Why? Because I know who I was as a person. And again, I also knew that there was nothing wrong with dating, relationships, or marriage. It's the people in it, right? It's a lot of mismatch going on, a lot of mismatching going on. So why do I then need to go off and say F it when I can understand the simple concept of, well, you're going to have to find somebody you're compatible with, you have chemistry with, and you have a connection with. I understood that. So there was no need to bash the whole thing. Just like when people get married, they know what marriage is, right? They know, let's say they're Christians or they're believers in God or whatever, and they know what that dynamic is like. So the initial idea of it is great. Oh yeah, cool. Y'all know what marriage is. Y'all know how we're supposed to move. I know how this gonna go. But when they get into it, some people start having issues, and then it's F marriage. When it should be no, me and that person weren't compatible, or we didn't have chemistry or connection, or we disagreed a lot. We didn't see eye to eye on things, and it fell apart. But that's that person. That's not marriage in itself. But the problem is people don't know how to compartmentalize things. I've been married more than once. At no point did I ever say F marriage. Because marriage is beautiful. And I know if you bond with the right person, it could be all good. But a lot of people don't understand that concept. And that is why they move the way they do. And that is why they try to get everybody away from it, right? Check this out. I'm not an advocate for divorce, but I'm a guy who believes in divorce. I do. I believe that if two people are bonded, and it is a shipwreck, right? It's a train wreck. It is terrible. I believe there should be grounds for divorce because I don't believe God's will can be done, more than likely, if you have two people who are bonded to each other but hate each other and hate the marriage and hate their situation. I don't believe they're going to add to God's kingdom in a positive way. And for me, that's the number one goal, to add to God's kingdom. When people are at odds with each other and they hate each other and they both want a divorce, but they're staying just to stay, a lot of times bad things come out of those situations, right? Whether there's large amounts of infidelity, whether somebody's out committing crimes, or somebody's just miserable, or somebody's deliberately hurting the other person. Just so much going on. Even if you got kids and they have to see it, it's actually tarnishing their minds. There's a lot of negativity that comes out of marriages that God doesn't approve of. A lot of negativity coming out of that. So I would rather you split, repent, ask God for forgiveness, and try to find your match, right? And then you guys add to God's kingdom. That's what I believe in. Most people who I know who do not like marriage, and let's say I'm talking about people who are married, people who hate it, despise of it. These are the people that's telling everybody else, don't do it. It's terrible. It's bad. While they're currently married. And that is not of God. To tell, as a man or woman of God, and you're telling other people, don't get married, don't do this, don't do that, and you're just speaking negativity into their lives, right? They ask you for advice, you're giving them bad advice all day long. That is not of God. That is not helping God's kingdom flourish, right? I don't know. I haven't read in the Bible anything about someone staying married for a long period of time, them getting blessings, right? Although I know blessings can come from it because you and the other person working together and, building, right? But I don't know anywhere in the Bible where it's saying, okay, if you stay married for this long time, you'll get blessed. Now, if you having ups and downs in marriage and you guys overall are good, yes, I'm good with that. But if it's a horrible marriage, if it's terrible, right? You guys are just doing ill will towards each other. Nah, I don't believe in that, right? I don't believe in it. I believe in a happy, healthy marriage, right? But that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But guys, we gotta be able to compartmentalize these things. You can't paint everybody with a broad brush. Just because you have a bad dating experience with someone or a bad relationship, don't throw it all away. Oh man, F this, F that. We've got to learn to compartmentalize things. And another thing, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Make sure you're on point. Make sure you're up to par. Right? Make sure you're up to par, because there are millions of people out here. And if you want to have those people available to you, you got to make sure you're on point. If you ain't on point, you ain't really going to have many options. And then you dead in the sand. Once your little relationship or dating experience or marriage is over, you done. You ain't even got a chance. But if you become the best version of yourself, all those options will become available to you. If the current situation doesn't work out for you, right? You can just keep plucking. And keep plucking don't mean you out here sleeping and having sex with everybody. That's not what that means. But find your match. Find your match. But don't compartmentalize it and say, oh, it's all, oh, I'm sorry. Don't put it all together and say, oh, it's all bad. It's all bad. Nah. You have to be able to separate these things and separate people and separate situations and keep moving forward. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? If one situation go bad, heal, get over it, and find the next best situation, right? Or create the next best situation. But guys, we got to stop putting all this together and saying, F this, F that, F all men, F all women. We got to cut that out. That's crazy, because in a grand sense, we all know that all men are not bad. We know that all women are not bad, right? We know that all marriages aren't bad. All relationships are not bad. And all dating experiences are not bad. If you match with that right person, we all know that's going to help you explode to the next level, right? Spiritually. We all know that. Financially, mentally, physically, right? It's going to enhance your life. But we got to stop putting this all together because we got one bad experience. Say that person wasn't for me, or that situation wasn't for me, and move on in a positive manner. Stop putting everything together. Learn how to compartmentalize this. Put it in sections. Come on, guys. But that's all I got for you guys. Like this video, share this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I could be off on this one. And subscribe to the channel. Speaks to Beast. And remember, guys, keep God first. I love you all. Be blessed.